Thank
Is
you.
that okay?
Yes, sir.
Just to let everyone know, this is being recorded, so if the chair does miss some of this, he can always go back and rewatch some of this testimony.
Okay. Good evening. This is the second public hearing of the 2025 Councilmanic Redistricting Commission, and this meeting will now come to order. As you all know, the chairman, Mr. Rockel, is having some technical difficulties, so I will tee up the meeting. Tonight's hearing is being held virtually via WebEx video teleconference. My name's Tom Bostwick, and I'm the secretary to the county council and part of the staff of the commission with Adam Phillips and Chris Belcastro. I'd like to welcome the members of the public that are in attendance, as well as the Councilmanic Redistricting Commission members. I would ask at this time that each of the commission members introduce themselves and feel free to make any opening remarks they would like. And why don't we begin numerically with Dr. Davis representing District 1.
Thank you, Tom. Tell me I'm not here. Is my audio on?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, I'm not seeing anything flashing. Thank you, Tom. So that's all I really wanted to say, Michelle Davis, District 1. I'm ready to get into the meeting. Thank you. Nice to have you all with us this evening.
Lisa Belcastro representing District 2. Just thank you all for being here. This is such an important part of the process, and like Michelle, excited to get into the meeting.
Mr. Rockel is the chair and representing District 3.
Hi, Cordell Grant, represent District 4. I also want to share the same sentiments of my colleagues. I'm so happy that we're all together, and I cannot wait to hear what the public has to say so we can make those proper changes.
John Delena, District 5. Just like to welcome everybody. Thank you for your testimony. I look forward to hearing it. Thanks.
Okay, Albert Harris from District 6. I'm here with Adam Phillips, and I welcome everyone. And this is what we truly want to do, to try to hear from each and every one of our constituents.
Edward Kramer, District 7. Welcome everyone, and hopefully we can get through everybody in a timely fashion tonight, so everyone has time. Thanks.
All right, thank you all very much. We're holding this public hearing pursuant to the provisions of Section 207B of the County Charter to hear public comment on the Commission's initial draft redistricting map for the configuration of the 9 new councilmanic districts that will be effective for the 2026 election. The draft map, as you may know, has been available for review and inspection for the past week on the County Council's website, as well as on the Redistricting Commission's webpage. The rules of procedure for tonight's virtual hearing are as follows. Anyone wishing to speak should have registered online using the virtual speaker registration form on the County Council's virtual sessions and hearings page prior to the hearing. Each registered speaker will be permitted up to 3 minutes to speak. Since this hearing is virtual, unfortunately, speakers will not see the timer displayed by the meeting host, Ms. Belcastro. Therefore, we are relying on each speaker to keep track of their 3-minute time period for testifying. Once the timer has expired, you will be notified by Ms. Belcastro, and you'll be that your time has concluded. You'll be asked to conclude your remarks within the next 30 seconds. We ask that you please abide by that so that we can keep this meeting moving. We truly appreciate everyone's interest in the redistricting process and the desire to address the commission, but we also want to ensure that each person that signed up to testify has an equal opportunity to be heard. That's why we're trying to keep to the 3 minutes. So let's get right to the speakers. Chris, can you call the first speaker?
Yes, but I just wanted to let everyone know, The chair is on by phone. I do
Yes,
have you unmuted. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
Well, then I'll
Sorry,
just shut up.
So I will get started. Our first registered speaker is Peter Richkis. Ms. Richkis, you may unmute yourself and begin your testimony. You're actually unmuted.
And to share my
Yes, ma'am.
slides?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Got it. Can you see the slides all right?
Yes.
Terrific. Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for your time and commitment. For the record, my name is Peter Richkis. Baltimore County has a clear opportunity to draw a new council map that reflects who we are. Our population supports it, and a fair map with equal districts would look like this 3-1-5 breakdown. 3 majority Black, 1 majority BIPOC, with the remaining 5 districts majority white. Nearly half of Baltimore County's population is Black, Indigenous, or other people of color. But this first draft map does not reflect that. While it includes 2 majority Black districts and 1 supposed BIPOC district, there is still no meaningful representation for the growing minority communities on the east side, as you can see from this heat map on the screen. The draft map presented is presented as a 2-1-6 map, but its BIPOC district is not functionally a true opportunity district. And in this draft map, Black voters are underrepresented by 25%, other minority communities by nearly 40%. Meanwhile, white voters are overrepresented by 30%. The draft map does slightly reduce West Side vote packing, but the so-called BIPOC district is realistically a 50-50 split. And the East Side's right to representation is completely ignored. Unfortunately, this draft map is not equitable and not compliant with the Voting Rights Act. A 3-1-5 map offers a fairer, legal, and more accurate reflection of who we are. No map guarantees who will be elected, but the new county council district map must provide the opportunity for the council to reflect who we are. I urge the commission to continue working to achieve a fair map. Thank you very much for your attention.
Next speaker, Ms. Belcastro.
You have to be patient. We have quite a few people on, and I have to scroll through this very large list. Our next speaker is Mr. Keith Dorsey. Mr. Dorsey, you're on. You may unmute yourself. I've unmuted you, and you do have the capability to share.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot later in the thing, but okay. Let me pull up the item to share. 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 Okay. Good evening. My name is Keith Dorsey, and I'd like to share with the commission and the audience a plan for redistricting called the Woodlawn Approach. Unlike other proposals, it would establish two supermajority Black districts, Randallstown and Woodlawn, on the west side of the county. Supermajority means at least 60% of the population is African American. This plan also provides a simple majority, meaning at least 50% minority district on the east side of the county. There are also 5 supermajority white districts in terms of if this breakdown that you see in front of you now. The districts under the Woodlawn Approach would fulfill the requirements of the Baltimore County Charter. The commission must recommend districts that are compact, contiguous, and substantially equal in population, with due regard given to parent, natural, geographic, and community boundaries. However, I believe the commission falls short of this requirement by breaking away a traditional woodlawn precinct such as Featherbed and lumping in precincts deep into Catonsville such as Maiden Choice and Charlestown Retirement with Randallstown. Even the non-compact appearance of District 2 raises questions of gerrymandering. Regarding the need for supermajority districts, I would first say that these two districts are not forced compacting of Blacks. Of the 130,000 African Americans in the Northwest Corridor, Randallstown and Woodlawn are longstanding communities that happen to be Black. It should not be any surprise to see Randallstown and Woodlawn exceeding the 60% population than it is to see North County at 85% white. Moreover, supermajority district is necessary to increase the likelihood of actually electing a second African American to the council. A simple majority district with Black population barely over 50% presents the risk that the one seat currently held by an African American could be lost. Reasons for this include minorities are impacted by more residents below voting age. For instance, countywide, minorities are 48% of the county residents, but only 45% of voting age residents. Higher resident turnover rates increase the likelihood of unregistered voters, lower voter turnout in many Black precincts. Second, Black candidate, even a planted candidate with a last name beginning with the letter A, simply they had to peel off a few votes, can easily cause a small majority to drop below 50%. Finally, a council member with such a narrow voting may feel inhibited from taking issues on issues important to the minority community. As I said, this is the look of the close-up of the compactness of the proposal under the Woodlawn Approach, clearly compact, as opposed to you see underneath of the commission's draft, it's very tangled in terms of that. So those are my thoughts. I ask the commission to reconsider the Woodlawn Approach, and I would be glad to respond to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Next speaker.
Certainly. If Mr. Dorsey could please remove his sharing of the screen so I can take back presenter. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Linda Dorsey Walker. Ms. Walker, you're on as a panelist. You may begin your testimony. Ms. Walker?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good evening. My name is Linda Dorsey Walker, and thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to come before you. As you know, we have for years now been working, several years now, trying to expand the council.
Enter your PIN.
Go ahead,
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Walker. My apologies.
Okay, so at this point, let me just share a couple of statistics with you. In the year 2001, when we created our first and still one and only primarily African-American district, we had 151,000 African-Americans residing in a county that had 754,000 residents. Now we have, and that was approximately 20% of the county's population. Now, African Americans make up over 30% of the county's population, and they, together with a burgeoning growth of new Americans from all different racial and ethnic backgrounds, now make up approximately 50% of our 850,000 person population. There has been a hue and cry that's arising on the eastern side of the county. The same thing that arose in 2001 among the African American population that said, we must, we need, we've gone as far as we're going to go with having no voice in government. If we were to draw a line down the center of Baltimore County, the majority of the land would be on the east side of Baltimore County. Yet, on that eastern side of Baltimore County, there's currently no local representation. We now have good candidates at the state level, but no one elected at the local level. Parkville is an area that is especially growing with African Americans who have moved out of Baltimore City. It's approximately 36% African American. The district, however, is approximately 56% minority. What the Woodlawn Approach Plan C does is creates a separate district over on the eastern side that would have 56.2% minority present. That would give, for the very first time in the history of Baltimore County, an opportunity for minorities to be elected on that side. Why is it important? Because in 2001, the Justice Department said, you must listen to these people who are saying they want a voice in government. It's no longer acceptable to say we can speak for them. They have the right to elect someone that they want to speak for them. And so I've been talking with people all over Baltimore County's eastern side for the last 3 years, and they have stated if there's any possible way. We've worked and looked at the numbers, and the neighborhoods of Parkville, Rosedale, Overly, Fullerton, as well as Greenlee, would all contribute portions of the population that would comprise that new district. And we believe that it would be one in which it would bring in new enthusiasm all over the eastern side of the county, even as the other sections continue to grow. One of the fastest growing areas is down in Dundalk, where Trade Point Atlantic is adding in more housing and more people are moving there. There are other—
Walker, if you can wrap up your comments, you're over 3 minutes.
So we're going to try to ask that you consider rethinking your map, because we must at this time allow those individuals to have a voice. The numbers bear them out. You've got the charts. Please look at them and consider the fact that we don't want to have to go back to the Justice Department again. It is unacceptable to continue saying, no, not any of you on half of the county's land. No. Thank you so much.
Our next
Ms. Dorsey
speaker,
Walker. And next, Chris.
Howard Libet. Mr. Libet, you are on as a panelist, and you may begin your testimony. Mr. Libet. Oh, there he goes. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
All right, thank you. Yes, I'm muted now. Thank you. Hi, I'm Howard Libet. I'm here representing the Baltimore Jewish Council. I wanted to express general, first of all, appreciation for the hard work I know that all of you have put in developing this draft map. The draft map generally seems pretty reasonable. It does seem to take into consideration making districts that are contiguous and compact and represent the natural geographic and community boundaries. I've been concerned by some of the alternatives that have floated around that would seek to pull apart communities, particularly those in the Pikesville, Northwest Baltimore area. The draft map you all put together keeps those areas generally together, and we very much appreciate that and hope it stays that way throughout the process. That's it. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Al Barnes. Mr. Barnes, you may unmute yourself and begin your testimony.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Al Barnes. I'm a resident of Randallstown, Vice President of the Kings Point Neighborhood Association, and participant in the Liberty Road Gateway Committee. I'd like to speak in support of the Woodlawn Plan C. The Woodlawn Plan C creates a second African American district, Woodlawn, in addition to maintaining Randallstown District, and creates a majority minority district in the eastern half of the county. Other plans appear to be to increase African American districts, but that to be in name only, as the western districts need to be at least 60% Black to be effective. It concerns me that we only have one Black councilman, and with some of the plans, we could wind up with none. I think the Woodlawn Plan addresses the requirements for councilman districts: compact, contiguous, substantially equal in population, and respective of natural, geographical, and community boundaries. Thank you.
Our next speaker that was registered was Mr. Roland Patterson. Mr. Patterson is no longer on the meeting. I don't know if he was having technical difficulties, but he left his comments in the chat if the commissioners would like to look in there with his contact information. Our next registered speaker after that was Rosita Gray. I have been unable to locate Ms. Gray on our attendee list, either by name or by phone number. If you are on Ms. Gray, please contact me in the chat and let me know where you're located or how you're calling in. The phone number that was left as the registration is not on here. Our next speaker is Makita Scott. Ms. Scott, you are on as a panelist. You may unmute yourself and begin your testimony.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Perfect. Okay, great. Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Makita Scott, and I am a resident of Baltimore County, at current District 4. I'm here to raise a concern about the accessibility and usability of the proposed redistricting map. As the commission works to achieve a fair map and ensure that the redistricting process is equitable, it is critical that community members such as myself are able to fully understand how the proposed changes affect us. Right now, the map as presented, I feel, falls short of that goal. The map should include clearly labeled street names, zip codes, voting precincts, and neighborhood boundaries. These elements, I feel, are essential for helping residents identify whether they've moved into a new district and understand how those changes will impact their representation or may impact their representation. Without them, many community members, especially those who are not familiar with geographic information systems or GIS, will be and are left in the dark. In addition, the map should be interactive and zoomable with the ability to search by address or neighborhood. These are basic features that are already standard in many public-facing mapping tools and would significantly improve transparency and community engagement. Fair redistricting does not just mean drawing equitable lines, it also means ensuring that the public can see, understand, and respond to those lines. When the map isn't user-friendly, it creates a barrier to participation and trust. So I respectfully urge the commission to adopt an improved map format that is interactive, clearly labeled, and easy for all residents to access and understand. The public deserves a redistricting process that is both fair and fully transparent. I thank you all very much for your time.
Our next speaker is Shafiq.
Chris, can I just jump in to say one thing?
Absolutely.
I have been working with our GIS office to do exactly that, and we are hoping to roll out an interactive version of the map by the end of the week. So we hear you.
Our next speaker is Shafiq Hinton. Mr. Hinton, you are on as a panelist. You may unmute yourself and begin your testimony.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, good evening, commissioners and members of the public. My name is Shafiq Hinton. I'm an active community servant from Eastern Baltimore County. First, of course, I want to acknowledge the time and effort you've committed to this process. Redistricting is difficult by design. It's political. Too often it's used to protect those already in power, while the people, the ones most affected, are treated as an afterthought. Tonight, I like to say that the people are paying attention, and my testimony may not be full of the praise that you're used to and that you may be hoping for. Many across the county are alarmed by what we've heard from this commission. One commissioner stated, "We can satisfy the voting right acts on the west side. So let me and my west side commissioners meet in private to focus on that, because there's more flexibility on the east." I mean, seriously, what does that even mean? Then when Commissioner Harris raised valid concerns about packing Black voters into the West, someone on this commission responded in effect, basically saying, well, there are only Black people in Turner Station on the east side. That's not just factually wrong, it's quite frankly, it's offensive. And quite frankly, it's starting to get to the point when you believe that, is this process just a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money, a waste of resources? Because, you know, Baltimore County is not what it used to be. It has changed. And the data, which was presented to the commission by Baltimore County's Department of Planning, you've seen it. We have changed, we have grown on the east side. There's a clear growth belt. But I just wonder, are you choosing to ignore it? Both the Woodlawn approach and the ACLU map call for fair representation in Eastern Baltimore County. So my question to the commission is, why don't you? You talk about contiguous districts, but then you present a mangled District 2 on the west side. The commission also talks about change, yet you absolutely changed nothing on the east side from the original map. That's not equity. It's just more of the same. Do we really want to see this spiral into another costly lawsuit, or can we finally do the right thing? So again, to the commissioners, who do you serve? The people, or do you serve the politicians who appointed you in this position? To my fellow residents, whether you support the Woodlawn map, the ACLU map, or any solution grounded in fairness, it's time to stand united, because this isn't about lines or colors on a map. It's about the kind of county we want to live in and the kind of future we're willing to fight for. This draft map by the commission, it's a non-starter. It ignores our growth, our diversity, and our right to representation. So we will continue to organize and we will continue to speak up. And together we can command and demand a map that actually reflects all of Baltimore County. And that is my time. You can go to the next speaker.
Our next speaker is, make sure I pick the right one. He's on here twice. George White. Mr. White, you may unmute yourself and begin your testimony. Let me try the other Mr. George White. He's on here twice. Mr. White. Mr. White?
Okay.
Mr. White,
Yes.
you may begin your testimony.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, again, good.
Yes, sir. You're unmuted.
Okay, I'm calling in today to support the Woodlawn Plan C. I've been a county resident for over 30 years now, and I've watched Baltimore County grow in numbers, and you can see our growth and our presence are felt on the west side. but the Woodlawn Plan C map gives us west side reach and east side reach. You've heard the testimony of Keith Dorsey and Linda Dorsey Walker, the direction they're going. And I totally agree with the direction they're going. And I thank you for your comment.
Our next registered speaker was Fergal Malali. I have not been able to locate them on the list, either by phone number or by name. I can always come back to them. The next registered speaker is Sharonda Huffman. Ms. Huffman, you are on as a panelist and you may begin your testimony. You can unmute yourself.
I think that's Mr. Hinton.
It does this sometimes. It does a little jump.
There we go.
Ms. Huffman? Ms.
Okay,
Huffman?
now can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Sharonda Huffman. It is a pleasure to speak with you this evening. I have already provided written testimony, but I want to reiterate some things that were already said. I do live in East Baltimore County, and I was very disappointed to see that this commission did not decide to even consider a BIPOC district. I just want to take in consideration that regardless of where you live, you all are representing Baltimore County. So if you have a specific expertise that can assist some others on the east side in creating a BIPOC district, can you please? I'm a Black woman and I actually live in Essex. I don't have to be part of a BIPOC district, but I know there is more opportunities for individuals who are minorities to have their own representation. Let me just be honest with you. I have spoken to every single council person except my own. So think about that. I testify all the time, and don't assume just because your council person, understands their community, that mine talks to me. So me is asking you to do a better job, is making sure that people of different ethnic groups who have been disenfranchised have an opportunity to unite. And guess what? Community lines are very important. But guess who created them? The same people who want to keep the status quo. So I ask this draft map just be a draft, and that you consider something else, regardless of whether or not the council approves it. Because in the very beginning, I asked for 4 more, but I also said take 2 and 2. So this is just something that's going to be on the record. And I really doubt that the way our council people are speaking about this map and the ACLU map, that they will even approve your map, but it is what it is. But I just want you to be on the right side of history. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Crystal Francis. Ms. Francis, you may
Yes.
begin your testimony.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Dr. Crystal Francis, resident of Baltimore County on the East Side, also a public policy expert. I've spent a decade working on equitable solutions for government, and I come before you today to urge this committee to issue an unfavorable report on the proposed redistricting map and instead adopt a fair map that reflects the values of representation, equity, and legality. The proposed map, as drawn, effectively redlines our county, dividing it east and west, Democrat and Republican, in a way that fractures community interests, dilutes the minority voting power, and places political self-interest over public good. And this type of map is just not unfair, it's unconstitutional, and will likely land the county back in court, wasting significant taxpayer dollars on litigation rather than spending time investing in our community and drawing lines that will essentially elect people in contiguous districts with not only gender, racial, ethnic, and background diversity, but also diversity as it relates to political affiliation. We need a map that brings our communities closer together, not just slicing them apart. Based on all of the proposed and suggested maps, it is my opinion that the Woodlawn approach is the one that has fairly applied not only population density, consideration of ethnic minority ability to be elected, but also follows the Voting Rights Act, especially in areas where we have growing diversity and strong community. It is so important that our members and residents of the county are able to elect leaders who not only understand their lived experience and have lived and worked and raised families in the community, but also leaders whose districts do not stretch miles across different landscape, where residents being able to reach them may not be realized. So I ask you, as you are, and I'm sure each of you took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Maryland and the laws and ordinances within Baltimore County. So I ask that you respectfully reject a gerrymandered map. And please, instead of, and I know it's difficult, instead of favoring incumbents, party interests, or individuals who you'd hope would assume the seats that will become vacant, please create a map that is compact, contiguous, representative of all people, and not engineered to protect the power of a certain few. That is all my comments. And as sure as many of us are tuning in, the county will remember the names of the individuals who signed off on a map that they said was fair, landed in court, and found out based off of a judge's decision that it was not. So don't just consider, please consider the county and the residents, but also consider your own reputation as a member of this committee, who council members elected you to not just protect their seat, but to put the interests of the voter first. Thank you.
I'm Albert Ayers from the 6th Council Manager District. Because we have at least 3 maps from the Woodlawn area, could you distinguish between which map you're speaking of? You got Woodlawn A, you have B and C. Could you distinguish?
Hold on one second, Mr. Harris, because she's back in the attendee list. Give me 1 second. Ms. Francis, you're back on.
Yes.
Mr. Harris was asking you a question.
C, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is that it, Mr. Harris? I'm gonna move on. I just want to make sure before I move on to the next speaker.
Yes, that was my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Our next speaker is Dottie Owsley. You're on as a panelist and you may begin your testimony.
Okay, do I need to unmute or can you hear me?
Nope, we can hear you. I unmuted you.
Oh, great. Thank you. Dottie Owsley, I've been almost a 30-year resident of Baltimore County in the Towson area, but my last 10 years as a Baltimore County public school teacher was at Perry Hall Middle School. I urge you, please, and by the way, first I need to say thank you for your hard work that you've been doing with this commission, because I know this has really taken a lot of the time that you would normally have with your families and other other interests in your life. So we appreciate it. I want to tell you that I think it is essential that we have 3 Black majority districts. And I think we need 2 in the West Side and 1 on the East Side. My years of teaching at Perry Hall Middle introduced me to such a large group, an enormous group of Black middle-class families in my school district. And the students at my school were wonderful. And I came to appreciate the growth of the Black population on the East Side. And I'm sure it's increased enormously since I retired from teaching in 2008. I think we all need to remember that you are choosing, we are helping give feedback for the future, 2026, and the present and the future. And, you know, probably our grandparents or maybe great grandparents thought of Baltimore County as being a Black majority on the, or a good number of Black residents more on the West Side than the East Side. But things have changed a great deal, as we've been hearing from other people. And so I urge you, please, to look to the future and take this consideration for paying attention to the growth of the Black majority group areas on the East Side, and also the brown and other ethnic groups that are there in increasing numbers. We just have to be aware of how important what we're looking at in the future is, and we do not want to end up violating the Federal Voting Rights Act by not taking care of these important considerations. So thank you very, very much.
Our next speaker, I'm going to go back to Ms. Gray. She is now on. Ms. Gray, are you there?
I am.
You may begin your testimony.
As a person that runs a business that has people from both East Side and West Side, I'm interested in keeping it in the last plan in which I heard mentioned. And hold up, I lost my train of thought for a minute. I'm sorry, I apologize for that.
Okay.
Anyway, as a person that runs a business on that side, I'm interested in keeping it more like what it is so that it is easier. I'm kind of discombobulated on the next part of it, but I believe it should be with number 2. And I'm sorry that all my information is going kind of crazy right now because I didn't set the time across appropriately. But at the same time, and I think the one that both Linda and then we're talking about is more appropriate for the district in which I am in. And as a business owner that operates off of both of the districts, and I believe it would be great benefit to stay like the way Linda Dorsey had recommended. So I ask that you please try to follow the way that they were talking about, because I think it would benefit all of the communities involved. And like I said, I apologize for being a little disorganized because I did not incorporate the time correctly. That's my statement.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Our next speaker is Karen Breathwaite Yarn. You may begin your testimony.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you for a moment. I live in Owings Mills, Maryland, and am a member of the Vote for More Steering Committee. I support the Woodlawn Approach Plan C, and it succeeds in proposing a second predominantly African American council district. And the Woodlawn Approach C also provides a new Parkville district where the majority of the population is a minority. The district is 56% minority, including 36% African American. A minority candidate successfully competing in this new district would be a major step in reaching diversity. And while I'm sitting here listening to all the comments, and I thank all the folks who've done all the hard work in order to represent their constituents, I looked up the word fair, and the definition in the dictionary says, fair means impartial and just, without favoritism or discrimination. The group has achieved fair and equal representation for all of its members. We are in a very important stage in the American political arena, ladies and gentlemen. What we do now will determine the future of not only Maryland, but the future of this country. Please do the right thing. It's easier to do the right thing than to try to correct what has been done wrongly. And our eyes are open, and we're not going back, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going back. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sean McIntosh. You may begin your testimony. Are you there?
Is it, who did you call?
Sean McIntosh?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name. And yes, I'm here. I realized that I was off mute, and so that's how I knew it was me. I apologize.
That's okay.
Yes, I'm Sean McIntosh. I'm from Sparks, Maryland, which is the current District 3 and the proposed District 5. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'd like to first thank you for the time that you have given to this effort. I would like to say that the map that you have proposed shows that you have been listening. I can see that you have been listening to the community and are trying to do your best. There's still work that needs to be done, though, and I ask that you listen to what's being said this evening. There have been a lot of impassioned pleas to add at least a third majority Black district on the east side. I believe that can be done, and I believe that there are examples of how that can be done. The Woodlawn Map C shows that. I believe ACLU has also created a map that shows how it can be done. And I think if you take these suggestions to heart and put your heads together, you can come up with something that meets those needs. I see that you're listening, and I ask that you continue to listen and do your best to create the fairest map possible. And that is what I'm asking for you to do this evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Our next registered speaker was William Gray. I have been unable to locate Mr. Gray either by phone number or by name. So if you're on, Mr. Gray, please connect with me on the chat. Our next speaker is Paul Dungera. Mr. Dungera, you are on, and you may begin your testimony. Mr. Dungera.
Oh, good evening, members of the commission, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. You know, I fully support the creation of 3 new minority majority districts, and this is a major necessary step forward. But true equity also means ensuring that in fixing one injustice, we don't create another. And that's why I am deeply concerned about the gerrymandered shapes of District 1 and 2 in the proposed map. Splitting the area between Route 40 and Security Boulevard into two different districts divides a vibrant and growing Muslim community centered around the Islamic Society of Baltimore. This community has built strong civic and cultural ties, and cracking this population across two districts weakens its political voice and may indeed violate the Voting Rights Act in of itself. Several members of the Muslim community have already submitted written testimony on this issue, and I am sure that more will follow. In addition, District 2, as currently drawn, would inherit a disproportionate share of aging neighborhoods along the city line, areas suffering from decades of disinvestment, aging infrastructure, and struggling schools. These neighborhoods are also targeted for complex redevelopment under the master plan. Burdening a single district with so many challenges undermines the ability of its future representative to deliver effective change. We must set up our new districts to succeed by fairly sharing the responsibility of representing our oldest, most in need communities. In conclusion, like the 109 similar testimonies that were submitted today, I oppose the current map because it radically divides neighborhoods and dilutes community empowerment. Doing so makes equitable revitalization efforts more difficult for projects like the redevelopment of Security Square Mall, Spring Grove, and many of the targeted areas in the southwest of Baltimore County that has approximately 12 of the 30 nodes designated by the master plan. Therefore, I urge the commission to 1, keep the Muslim community north of Route 40 intact, 2, fairly distribute representation of high need areas, and 3, draw districts that respect community boundaries and enhance citizen advocacy efforts. And I must say that looking and reviewing the Woodlawn Plan C appears to do these things. So thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Bishop Barry Chapman.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you may begin your testimony.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bishop Barry Chapman, and I have been a longtime resident of Baltimore County for over 35 years. And I've had the opportunity to watch the growth and development of Baltimore County. But I've also witnessed the constant hits that certain communities have had, particularly Dundalk. Dundalk should have its own political power base and representation. I didn't grow up in Dundalk, but I certainly have an affinity for Dundalk. I think that all the hits that it took over the years, particularly when the steel mills closed, which further eroded economic power and political power from that particular district, and the proposed map is going to further take political power from that district and continually to take away the ability for that district to thrive. So I am in wholehearted support of the Woodlawn Approach Plan C, that the intelligent people who did it, which was Keith Dorsey and Linda Dorsey Walker. We have to understand that human beings can't be a part of dividing people. A society cannot thrive with inequity. Okay, all we're doing is setting ourselves up for continued failure. We're also setting ourselves up for continual battles, whether they be legal or whether they be political lines drawn by personality, by financial power, by things that will basically keep us at each other's throats instead of building the community by building people up instead of tearing them down. So the proposed map is earmarked for that. And I urge the commission to change course on this and not set up a situation where there will be a fight in the courts, okay, for violating the Voting Rights Act or just violating the Constitution itself. It's we the people. We the people need our representatives to represent us and let the people be the special interest that the representatives have to adhere to and what their wishes are. And as there was another speaker that basically said that okay, the residents of Baltimore County, whatever part of the county that you're on, okay, they're watching this historical analysis and the plans that's been put forward and the alternative plans to bring about justice and equity. They're watching, and yes, they're going to remember the people who went against the people. So sooner or later, they're gonna have to deal with that. And my closing statement is this: go against the people all you want, and hold on to your special interests. But we, the people, are woke. And that's my final comment.
Our next speaker is Joanne Antoine. Ms. Antoine, you may begin your testimony.
Hopefully you can hear me. Good evening, commissioners. For the record, my name is Joanne Antoine, Executive Director of Common Cause Maryland. And I'm testifying today, to urge you all to develop a truly representative map. I'm going to keep my testimony short since everyone before me kind of lifted up my comments. I first just want to thank you all for really working to ensure that this process is transparent and accessible. We work on redistricting at the state level and in local jurisdictions, and you all truly are serving as a model as we prepare to redraw lines in the next few years, right? So thank you for your leadership and dedication and for your efforts to center input. I stand with community leaders in urging you all to develop a map that includes at least 4 minority and majority districts. That is specifically 3 majority Black districts and 1 majority BIPOC district. If you're adhering to the overall spirit and letter of the VRA, you all are charged with looking at data and growth and creating opportunity districts where possible. And unfortunately, your draft has not achieved that goal, but we're confident that you could go back to the drawing board and achieve this 4 majority minority districts. And I stand with the person before me who lifted up the need to improve the way that the maps are being shared with the public. A PDF unfortunately just does not go far enough. Individuals do not have access to demographers. They shouldn't have to request shape files for you in order to load it and create an interactive map on their own. So I'd urge that in releasing the next draft, that you proactively make all data files available, including the shape files, and that you also provide a link to an interactive map where the person can zoom in, see their street, put in their address, and so forth. And I'd also just lift up the fact, I realized when signing up that there's no process for translations or ASL interpretation. I hope that's not the case for council proceedings altogether, but I would urge, establishing some process where, hopefully as more communities of interest begin to engage, that there are reasonable accommodations made where needed. So, I'd urge you all to make sure that you are sending the council the strongest map possible. And on our end, it really is a 315 map. Again, that is 3 majority Black districts and 1 BIPOC district. Thank you all so much for your leadership.
Our next speaker is, I'm going to go back to Fergal Malali, who is now on. You may begin your testimony.
Good evening, and thank you for accommodating me as I was a little bit late this evening. My name is Fergal Mullally. I'm a resident of Towson in the current Council District 6. I appreciate that redrawing a district map is something of a thankless endeavour. There are many competing concerns. Some of them are spoken and some are not. You must balance these concerns and produce a map that satisfies both the people and the incumbent council, two groups that are not always going to be in agreement. I get that it's just a hard job. But it's clear listening to the comments tonight that you have succeeded in satisfying some of the county and disappointing others. And I regret that I find myself in the second camp. As has already been pointed out many times already, the population makeup of this county calls for 3 majority black districts, 5 majority white ones, and a 9th district that best represents our considerable population of all other races. Such a map might be difficult to draw, but a reasonable person could hope that the Commission would try to get as close to those numbers as possible. Instead, with the map that you have presented, we get 2 majority black districts, 6 majority white districts, and 1 district where the white population just falls a hair below the majority at 49.5%. This slimmest of minorities, where small changes could improve the demographic makeup considerably, feels like a wasted opportunity on your part. Meanwhile, the substantial minority on the east side of our county has gotten shut out. Legislative District 8, currently ably represented by Senator Carl Jackson, has a total population of nearly 100,000 and a minority population of 49%. It is also an area that has long felt neglected by the council. It would not be hard for you to draw a councilmanic district around the I-95 corridor with a strong majority representation and an opportunity for a strong voice in council to represent those long-suffering residents. Instead, Legislative District 8 has been carved up and spread across no fewer than 5 councilmanic districts. In previous redistricting exercise, residents of Towson lobbied hard to keep Towson within a single district, arguing that splitting it across 3 diluted the attention of each councillor and made their representation less effective. I can only imagine the response if my town was to be split 5 ways by a map. I know your job is difficult, and I know you won't be able to satisfy everyone, but I do believe that an improved map that satisfies more residents is definitely possible. And finally, can I heartily support the request made by the previous speaker to make all future maps available in a machine-readable format to simplify the analysis for those who don't have the benefit of the Council GIS experts with us. Thank you very much for your time.
Our next speaker is Catherine Allen. Ms. Allen, you may begin your testimony when you're ready.
Yes, I am here tonight to represent the White Marsh Cowington Improvement Association. I am the Vice President and Treasurer. Our President is not available for talk this evening, but we were calling because we have a concern about planning block, I believe it's 11-004. It's very difficult, as you know, to read the maps. And at times it looked like 11020 was part of it. At times it looked like this planning block might be divided along Route 7. At others, it looks like it was divided along 95. But the bottom line is we are a feeder school into the Perry Hall school system. All of the people on the Route 7 corridor that our association represents go to Chapel Hill Elementary, Perry Hall Middle, and Perry Hall High School. And we're very aligned with the Perry Hall Association and the Kingsville Association and work towards common things. And our advocacy efforts align with Perry Hall and Kingsville. And the current map, again, it's very difficult to interpret exactly, but it would split our community association potentially in half, but definitely away from the people that we are generally most tied to in our advocacy efforts. And we would like that reconsidered. The boundary that was used when they did the school redistricting was the railroad tracks close to Route 40. And that is a more appropriate line in our opinion. I cannot give you any statistics because I do not have them. I was hoping that as the process went along, we would get more. I know there's about 4,000 members in this area, and it is an extremely diverse population. So I realized that there is a bit of a domino effect when you're looking at minority voters. So when the maps that you're saying are coming and that information is more available, I definitely think it would help make things much clearer for us. But at this point, I am asking that that be considered, that we stay with part of District 8, which we have been in the past, and we're requesting that could continue. Thank you.
Our next speaker, registered speaker, was Amy Ginger. I no longer see Ms. Ginger on. I will come back to her. Our next speaker after that is, Ms. Ginger, are you on by name? Because I cannot see you, or are you on by phone? Very strange. Bear with me one moment, please. Are you on as your first name only, Ms. Ginger? While I'm trying to locate Ms. Ginger, I'm going to call the next speaker. Our next speaker is Cheryl Brooks. Ms. Brooks, you are on. You may begin your testimony.
Hi, good evening. My name is Cheryl Brooks, and I want to thank all of you for the role that you play today. I'm an educational leader on the south side of Baltimore County, and I've lived in the southeast side of Baltimore County for my entire life, in Turner Station, Dundalk, and Essex over the past 5 years. I've served on the State Redistricting Commission in 2023, and I know how hard this work is, and I applaud your efforts at this critical time for the work that you're doing to help shape the political landscape of our future and for that of our children. I'd like to speak in favor of the Woodlawn Approach C map. Please strongly consider this redistricting map. The map has carved out a district that is majority minority on the east side of Baltimore County. The district population has changed significantly over the years. It is absolutely more diverse and far more widespread across our county. Our families and constituents of the southeast and eastern Baltimore County need a voice, and our voices deserve to be heard. And local government is the best way to directly support the families that we serve and that live in our communities. And this makes this redistricting map pivotal. It's time to allow for more minorities to have a voice, have opportunities to be elected. We need a voice for minorities on this side. Historically, there have been none elected on this side of the county, outside of gender, of course. And we truly need to diversify our representation. The time is now. Again, I truly appreciate your time, and thank you again for your service to our county as a member of this commission. I hope you have a nice evening.
Our next speaker is Ms. Ginger. She put her last name in first. My apologies to everyone. That's why I couldn't find her. It's in alphabetical order. Ms. Ginger, you are now on. You may begin your testimony.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well this evening. My name is Amy Ginger, as now we all know because it's been said several times. So I am here on behalf of the Greater Kingsville Civic Association and its members, as well as being a lifelong resident of Kingsville myself. The mission of the Greater Kingsville Civic Association is to preserve and protect the rural nature of Kingsville, Maryland. The community is currently fending off attacks on every angle as we fight to keep our community's best interests at the forefront. The adjusted district map, also referred to as the Woodlawn Approach, would move Kingsville, Glenarm, and parts of Perry Hall into a district that includes Owings Mills, Reisterstown, and Hunt Valley. The issues faced by these suburban communities are not the same as we face in our communities of Baltimore County. Our voices will be lost and our way of living will be altered. The Woodlawn Approach redistricting map is a partisan proposal that must be recognized as an attempt at gerrymandering the votes and limiting the voices of residents in certain communities. We depend on our councilperson to represent the community by knowing the community, by living in our community, and by representing the best interests of our community. The Greater Kingsville Civic Association and its members strenuously oppose the gerrymandered map referred to as the Woodlawn approach and urges the Redistricting Commission to keep the map that was approved in July of 2024. I appreciate your time this evening.
Our next speaker is Pamela Fetch. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You're on as a, are you on with two devices, Ms. Fetch?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, but you're on with more than one device. So that's why we're hearing an echo.
No,
You need to,
I know, my cell phone's on, I'm sorry.
that's okay. We just need to get rid of one of the devices.
I'm using my laptop. Okay, I've carried it off. I don't know why you picked it up, but anyway. You all right? Ed?
One moment.
Wait a minute here, let me see what's going on.
I have you listed on here twice, which means you're on either on the meeting twice or you're on with on the meeting with two different devices.
Wait a minute. Okay. How's that? How's that? Hello?
Yes. My goodness. Hold on just 1 second. Try again, Ms. Fetch.
Okay.
That's a little better.
All right. Well, as you hear, my name is Pamela Fetch, and I live in Catonsville, District 1, in the Paradise community. And with that, I'm opposed to the proposed. I'm opposed to the Woodlawn redistricting map. Catonsville and Arbutus and Paradise and Dunmore are the gateway communities to Catonsville and Arbutus. And the severance of these neighborhoods into another district, District 2, I believe would lessen and dilute our influence with the county and state, as well as the influence and cohesion of District 1. These communities and neighborhoods are interfaces between the city and county and are, as I said, gateways into each of them. They have unique issues, being gateway communities and neighborhoods placed in a newly created different district, which is much smaller than the rest of District 2, may not be appreciated or readily addressed our needs and issues. Revitalization money and initiatives may be compromised as a result of these changes in the districts. This plan does not follow the standard rules of redistricting of contiguous, compact, and long-standing affiliations and communications among these neighborhoods or its transportation corridors. Examining the census and demographics for District 2, and District 2 looks a little like a type of gerrymandering, and placing a preponderance of African Americans in 2 districts and lessening the chances of having the chance of more African Americans running and winning throughout the county, in my opinion. And this is done in, oh, wait, I'm going. Okay. Well, they got my, all right, I'm sorry. Hello.
Yes, we're here.
Okay. I'm sorry if you heard me. I'm not sure.
Yes, we did.
Okay. And I really, this type of, in my opinion, gerrymandering is used quite frequently in the South to reduce the number of African American and other minorities in their state governments and their county governments. So I'm opposed to the Woodlawn plan. I would hope that the county council rethinks it and does not approve it. Thank you, and I'm sorry about the technical stuff.
That's all right. We got it fixed. I expelled the other two names that were on the list, so we're good now. Thank you, Ms. Fetch.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for.
Not a problem. Our next speaker, I'm going to go back to, I see that Mr. Gray is now on. Mr. Gray?
Hello.
Yes, you may begin your testimony.
Well, I've been asked to give my response to the redistricting.
Yes, sir, you may begin.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm talking now in reference to the redistricting as a former pastor for 30 years in the Essex area, a resident of Randallstown and Middle River. So I sort of cover Baltimore County in those areas. And it's not really proper that the other areas are denied or reduced or played with. And what I'm discovering from everything I've heard, I have not been as involved as I should have, but I'm discovering that this new redistricting is designed to please on the surface, but not give true representation to that portion of Baltimore County that has been neglected. And it's important to me, and as a leader in Baltimore County, as a pastor with over 1,000 people in my books, I'm just retired, that it's important to us to feel that we can be represented. If they try to work with what we have now, the one that gives us more may not give us everything that we need. So I'm here sort of new to the issue, but I identify with the value of being able to vote for your representatives. And that's why I'm here to talk to the board that they at least make that kind of move that's open and not apparently designed to limit the votes of certain people. So that's basically what I have to say.
Thank you for your testimony, Pastor Gray. Our next speaker is, well, our next registered speaker was Layla Campbell. I have not been able to locate Ms. Campbell. I've been searching for her on the list. I even tried the last name first and her phone number. So I'm going to move on to the next speaker, who is Denise Treat. Ms. Treat, you may begin your testimony.
Good evening. Thanks for hearing me. I wanted to echo the thoughts of many of my neighbors and other people in Baltimore County. Crystal Francis, Shafiq, Dottie, Karen, Sean McIntosh, Joanne Antoine, and Bishop Barry Chapman. The redistricting is mangled I'm in District 1, and it is definitely a very mangled proposal. It's geographically and socioeconomically mangled both of those districts. It is basically a gerrymandered looking map. I mean, every other district is contiguous, and it looks like a natural district. The boundaries here are not. It is not representative of the populations that live there. It is not, from where I live, to the other end of my territory is a good 25 to 30-minute drive. This is not reality in our world. For what I'm seeing here, this is just not representative, and this is designed to serve, I don't know who, but certainly not the constituents of these districts. We need districts that represent, we need more representation of minorities. It's not just Black minorities. In my district, we have minorities that are of all backgrounds, and we need them, we need representation that represents all of those people on the council. And we certainly need more than one Black majority district. We need 2 or 3 at the very minimum. And I'm puzzling out where this map came from. Who drew this map? And who does it serve? Because it's not serving the constituents. And that's a big concern. And I'm proposing that we go with the Woodlawn Plan C. I certainly would also like to see the East Side represented. So I think some major changes need to happen to this map, and a lot of rethinking, because it's not serving the people in this county. Thank you. I cede back the rest of my time.
That concludes the speakers for tonight's hearing, other than Ms. Campbell, who I still cannot locate. I haven't been able to locate her. I marked everyone off at the beginning of the hearing, and I haven't been able to locate her since the hearing started. If you are on before we close out, please contact me through the chat. Mr. Bostwick, I'll turn it over to you or the chair. Mr. Rockel.
Chris, did we do Ann George, Miss George?
Miss George sent me a message in the chat to say that she was going to remove herself from the speaker list.
Okay.
So I did not forget her. I just didn't mention that.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So that does conclude the speakers. I don't know if Mr. Rockel, the chair, can, if you can be heard, but if anyone would like to make any, parting comments or remarks, please do. Any other commissioners?
Yes,
I'd
Mr.
like
Boss.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chair Rockel.
Thank you. Mr. Bostwick, members of the virtual audience, I apologize for the technical problems I had at the start of the meeting. Done many WebEx meetings, and this is the first time I've ever experienced this muting thing. Although I will tell you, many members of my family would like to mute me on a regular and continuing basis. I just want to express to all the speakers that we have heard your voices tonight. We think your input is important, and we will take it under discussion and consideration as we move forward in this process. Now I turn it over to another commissioner.
Miss Lisa, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Ms. George just messaged me in the chat, and now she would like to make some comments. If that is okay with the commission members, can I interrupt to let her have a moment? Thank you.
Right.
Let me locate her because I've closed out the attendee list. Let me get back in. Ms. George, you are now on as a panelist, and you may begin your testimony. You can unmute yourself. Are you there, Ms. George?
I am, I'm here.
Yes. Okay.
Can you hear
You
me?
may begin your testimony.
I'm sorry, I had somebody come in and I was afraid I would miss the opportunity to speak.
No problem.
I just want to say that, first of all, I do appreciate all the work that the commission has put onto this and the people who have prepared some alternative things. I think we do need to go back to the drawing board and find something that is a little bit closer to what our population represents. And the bottom line here is, of course, the that we need to be in conformance with the latest version of the Civil Rights Act. It sounds wonderful that if we could have 3 majority Black districts and as well as 1 majority minority, I think that is most closely represents our population and the way in which we are moving probably in the next few years. The other issue that I would like to talk about that I hear a lot about is that these communities are going to be split. I don't think it's possible to make a map in which communities are, some communities are not split. I mean, and some people have I think the other thing I wanted to say is that it's not like a divorce. You know, for instance, when we had issues in Lutherville with housing at the light rail, it's very close. Lutherville was really into it. I'm in Timonium, okay? And the people, the farther they got out in District 3, the less concerned they were about it. But if a community is split and there are actually two county councilmen or women representing that, that's a plus. And maybe there even one is a Democrat and one is a Republican in that area. That to me would be having more than one person to advocate or give an alternative view of the situation might be a positive thing. That's all I wanted to say. Let's not talk about the divisiveness of it, but more so there might be some positive things about having some divisions of community. Okay, thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
I'm sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Chris. Again, I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight and sharing their thoughts. This is such a vital part of this process. And additionally, I want to thank each of the commissioners on the commission. This work is a science, drawing these maps. You draw one line, or you move one line, one way, one road over, and the science completely changes. I do want to acknowledge that we have been working in silos to kick this work off, the east side and the west side. And it is time, after we've heard from the public, that as we move forward, find ways to collaborate across that line down the center of the county. And so as we move forward and we start to continue our work as a commission, I look forward to having discussions with my East Side commissioners about ways we can move the county forward, and vice versa. I look forward to hearing from commissioners on the East Side about the West Side and coming together as a whole. But I'll leave it there. And again, just want to thank everyone tonight for all your feedback.
Commissioner Harris here. I just want to reiterate and thank every one of the speakers that had a chance to speak tonight. What we heard was what we really wanted to hear. Anyway, we wanted to know exactly what you, as a resident, is actually saying. It's clear to me that we have a lot more work to do. And we want to continue to work as hard as we can to try to bring forth a map that not only we will be happy with presenting, but you as residents and voters will be happy in seeing. Again, thank you, and thank you to all my commissioners that are working hard on this map.
Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? Mr. Kramer? Oh, you're good?
Mr. Boswick, I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Before we do, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, we still have about 70 people on, and I want to make sure that everyone is aware that we will be putting out the hearing schedule for the 2 in-person hearings that we're going to have in May. The first one will be at Middle River Recreation Activity Center on Monday, May the 12th at 6 p.m. The one after that will be Monday, May the 19th at the the Liberty Community Center. Randallstown Community Center, sorry. And that will be on Monday, May 19th. They will both start at 6 p.m. They will both be in person only. Thank you.
Just to add, registration will be online, however, in advance that day of the hearing. Correct, Mr. Boswick?
Yes. Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we conclude the meeting. I have,
Do that.
Is there a second?
I second.
all right, thank you all and good night. Again, we appreciate the time that you've spent informing us tonight. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, good night, everyone.